Steak and Lube, they'll be sponsoring Fan Appreciation Night here next Saturday. Next week is Quaker Steak and Lube Fan Appreciation Night with $6 admission for your front row. And the green is out. Now as they scramble off of turn number 4. A bumper came off of one of the cars, it looked like. You got something laying on the front straightaway. Caution is out. Looks like the 64 Chuck Bowery may have lost the bumper right on the start. The speed and the green is out. Into turn 1 and 2, Todd Wright in the 5. Only been behind the wheel for about a month, has got the lead. Jim Steffens in car 38 moves to second, or does he? 64 Chuck Bowery in the Steffens 38 side by side for second. 3J Joe Johnson runs in the 4th slot. That's the 4 of Alex Perry and the 97 of Travis Geisler. Still Todd Wright up a little high though off of turn 2. Jim Steffens runs second in the 38. Colbert's Collision Service 38s trying to track down the Renegade Racing 5. Chuck Bowery third, Alex Perry into 4th, and the Perry Chevrolet 4. Joe Johnson spills towing 3J runs 5th. And it's the D&B Trucking 97 of Travis Geisler and the Keystone Beer 35 of Mike Cecere. Geisler goes to the outside in car 97 as they exit the 4th turn. Gets by the 3J of Johnson, now trying to get by the 64 of Chuck Bowery. Todd Wright still leading. Jim Steffens second. Alex Perry third. Travis Geisler is up to 4th. Chuck Bowery in the 64 5th. On the outside, and your leader spins. Todd Wright in the 5 spinning out. He's against the inside guardrail. 2-1 still going except for Wright in the 5. Caution is out. Caution out for the 5 of Todd Wright. Steffens goes, and we're back underway. And they come into 4. Off the 4th turn, things are crowded down the front straightaway to turn number 1. 3 on the outside trying to take the lead away. Steffens down low. Geisler is 3rd. Cecere 4th. Joe Johnson running 5th as they head down the back chute. We got another spin. This time it's the 11A of Pittsburgh, Pete Luria, parked at top turns 1 and 2. 11A. The points leader coming into the night in the Quaker Steak and Lube 11A. Happens to go. When he goes, we'll go. And here he goes. Into turn number 1. 3 wide. Alex Perry takes the lead. Geisler in the 97. Up into second. Here comes Mike Cecere in the 35. The Perry Chevrolet. Franklin Racing Supply 4 of Alex Perry, your leader. Over the D&B Trucking, Danforth Construction 97 of Travis Geisler. Then it's the Keystone Beer, Sub Express 35 of Mike Cecere. The Phil's towing 3J of Joe Johnson. And Jim Steffens in the Colbert's Collision 38. Cecere pressuring Geisler for that second spot. Travis holds him off the 4th turn. Cecere pulls alongside and may go by as they head into turn number 1. Mike Cecere into the second spot. Now Geisler tries to return the favor off at 2, but it's Cecere second, Geisler third. Alex Perry out in front. Seven laps are complete, 13 to go. Alex Perry has a couple of wins this year. Cecere and Geisler each have one. fourth. A little high there through the middle of 3 and 4, but he still got the fourth spot. 38 Jim Steffens fifth. John Pavlik runs sixth. Dave Wade is seventh. Kirk Young eighth. And Pete Laurie a close ninth. Todd Wright moving to 10th in car number 5. Halfway, 10 laps to go for the Zaresco Limited Late Models. Pete Laurier and Kirk Young having a good battle for 8th. The 11A and the 5 car exit the second turn. Laurier picks up another spot in the Quaker Stake and Lube 11. Sear and Geisler. Caution, we've got a spin. It's John Hodgkiss in the 69. Up against the wall in turn 3. Caution is out for 69, John Hodgkiss. And the Nigel Auto Solutions 69 with 12 laps down and 8 to go. Alex just graduating from high school this year. When we get to the cone, we go. They have to start outside the cone. And they're underway. It's Paris with the lead. Cecere second, Geisler third, Joe Johnson still fourth. Joe Johnson fourth, and Jim Steffens still fifth. Wade runs sixth right now in the 76 car. On the inside of Wade is the 00, John Pavlik on the outside. The 11A of Pittsburgh, Pete Laurie. We got a car off the pace here, the 64 of Chuck Mowry. Limping along on the low side of the Speedway. Mike Cecere in the 35 trying to put a little pressure on race leader Alex Paris. 6 laps to go. Paris Chevrolet, Franklin Racing Supply, 4 still in front of the Keystone Beer Sub Express 35 with the Danforth Construction D&B Trucking 97 of Geisler third. The Phil's Towing 3J of Joe Johnson fourth. The Colbert's Collision Center 38 of Jim Steffens fifth. And Pete Laurie is now up to 6 in the Quaker Steak and Lube Century 3 Dodge 11th. Dave Wade runs 7th. Kirk Young is 8th. John Pavlik is 9th. And Todd Wright is 10th. Four more laps to go. About equal distance between your front 3 cars. Pete Laurie putting a late race charge on in the 11A. Pittsburgh Pete running the rim. Remember, he spun earlier and he's come from the back up into the top 5. We've got another spin up in turn 2. It's 60 or the 5 of Todd Wright. Todd Wright in car 5. Second caution he's brought out here. We've got 4 laps to go. Car 38. And they're underway. Then Cecere and Geisler. It's been pretty much equal distance between the front 3 here for the last several laps. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Joe Johnson still 4th. Jim Steffens in the 38 5th, and it's Pete Laurie at 6th, Dave Wade 7th, Kirk Young 8th, John Pavlik 9th, Andy Klein is 10th. And it's Todd Wright spinning again over in turn 2, and if he brings out the caution this time, he is done ski for the night ski. It'll be his 3rd caution, and he is now done. You bring bring out the caution 3 times in a feature event. Under Speedway rules, you are done for that event. So Todd Wright will have to take the 5 car into the pits. The third. Sear Geisler, Joe Johnson 4th, Jim Steffens 5th, Pete Loria 6th, Dave Wade 7th, Kirk Young 8th, John Pavlik 9th, and Chuck Mallory runs 10th. The white and the checkered being shown, 2 laps remaining, 2 to go. Remaining in the Zaresco Limited Late Model feature. Mike Cecier trying to deep into turn 1 in car 35, but he can't come out of the second turn any better than he had been. He was right there about the same distance. He is beating Ferree into the turns, but Alex seems to have a little more coming off, and they're coming to the checkered flag now, and Ferree will get the win. Cecier a good run in second. Geisler 3rd, Joe Johnson 4th, Jim Steffens 5th, Pete Loria 6th, Wade 7th, Kirk Young 8th, John Pavlik 9th, and Chuck Mallory rounds out the top 10. Alex Ferree, high school graduate out of Saxonburg, and the Ferree Chevrolet Franklin Racing Supply number 4 at the weigh-in center to make it all official, but looks like it's his 3rd win of 1998 here at the Monster Half Mile in the Zaresco Limited Late Model Division. And he being sponsored by Borla Exhaust, the official exhaust of the Stars Racing Series. The highest placing finisher in each qualifying heat who meets the criteria of the Borla Exhaust program will receive $50 cash for their efforts. Borla Exhaust, the winningest muffler in racing. Bob Salathree in the RG3 on the front row, along with the 54 of Chris Angelicchio. Ed Ferree, who just saw his son win the Zaresco Limited Late feature, starts 3rd in car 4. Your fast qualifier, Weston, West Virginia's Timmy Hitt, starts 4th in car 68. Then the 1J of Davey Johnson, the E1 of Mike Balzano, 96 Keith Berner, and the 12 of Rick Auckland. 8, Dennis Curry, and the 75 of Don Gross. 0, Brian Durick. The 10 of Gary Lau. The 21 of Jason Montgomery, and the 00H of Chuck Harper. 10 laps to distance. And as they say, only the strong survive. Be ready to go. Bob Salathy, the Bedford Bullet in car 3J, and Chris Angelicchio out of Greensburg making his first late model start. Had a great qualifying time. He's got some real hot numbers behind him. Here they come off of 4. Not a good start. The 3rd row was jumping the gun. Not a good start. The 3rd row got anxious. Davey Johnson in the 1J got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. First time it's a warning, second time it's a citation. Here they come. Second try. Coming off the 4th turn. Salathy and Angelicchio hit the hammer, and we are underway. Look out in turn 1, man. They are scattering. 4 wide there in the middle of the pack. Salathy exits 2 with the lead. Ferree runs 2nd. Timmy Hitt is 3rd. Davey Johnson up to 4th, and it's Balzano and Auckland side by side. Here they come off of turn 4. In the 1. Out in front, it's still Bob Salathy. Ferree 2nd. Hitt 3rd. Johnson 4th. Auckland is 5th now. Balzano 6th. Angelicchio is 7th. Curry 8th. Timmy Hitt in car 68 down on the inside. Ferree with was right there with him through 3 and 4, but Hitt is hooked up, coming off of 4, pulls alongside of Salafi into turn number 1. Tim Hitt takes the Rocket Dream into the lead in turn 2. Salafi second, Faree third, Johnson still fourth now. Auckland closing on Davey into turn number 3. Auckland goes to the outside of the racetrack, trying to take a fourth and final transfer spot from Davey Johnson with 3 laps down. Auckland up high into 4th. Johnson drops to 5th. Balzano is 6th. Angeliquio 7th. Curry running 8th. Gross 9th. And Berner is 10th. Tim Hitt pulling away in the Rocket Chassis Dream Racing Engine 68 with Bob Salafi still second, Ed Faree third, and Rick Auckland fourth. Davey Johnson and Mike Balzano now battling for 5th. Balzano up high, moving by Johnson into turn number 1. Hitt continues to pull away here. Salafi still second and Faree third. Auckland, Balzano, and Johnson. Halfway, 5 laps to go in Borla Exhaust Heat Race number 1. Lead now almost a full straightaway. He has really set sail here, the Weston, West Virginia pilot. He's got her flying off of 4 with 3 laps to go. Salafi by himself in second in the TMI Pepsi-Cola 3. The Faree Chevy Franklin Racing Supply 4 of Ed Faree runs 4th, and the Easy Crusher 3rd, and the Easy Crushers 12 of Rick Auckland still in that final transfer spot up to 4th. Balzano is 5th, Davey Johnson 6th, Curry 7th, Chris Angeliquio 8th, Don Gross 9th, and Keith Berner runs 10th. 2 laps to go, 2 to go. Hitt now putting a lap on the 00 of Chuck Harper. One more lap to go, 1 lap remaining. Rick Auckland trying to close in on Ed Faree for 3rd here. Your leader, Tim Hitt, enters traffic in turn 3, but he's got such a big lead, no need to be in a hurry. He was your fast qualifier, and he's your Borla Exhaust first heat race winner, Tim Hitt. Bob Salafi 2nd. Ed Faree will get 3rd, and Rick Auckland 4th. 5th to Mike Balzano. Davey Johnson 6th. Dennis Curry 7th, Chris Angeliquio 8th, Keith Berner 9th, and Don Gross 10th. Didn't waste much time once he got to the lead. He went away from the rest of the field. He makes his way to the weigh-in center to make it all official. Cars must meet minimum weight requirements every time they go on the Speedway. Tim Hitt wins your Borla Exhaust Heat Race number 1. That will put him in tonight's Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash. All right, defending Penn National 100 champ Bart Hartman in the 21. Look out. Rick Eckert in the 24. 42, Todd Andrews. 15, Steve Francis. 5, Lou Bradish in the 0 of Dave Groves. 04, B.A. Malquit. The 12 of Doug Dodd is out there. 48, Mark Motes. 61, Dan Armbruster. The star 1 of Chubb Frank. The yellow 12 of Courtney Clewell. The 9 of Frankie Plessinger. And the 75 of Mel Minnick Jr. Here they come. Bart Hartman, last year's winner of the Penn National 100, and Rick Eckert in the 24, your front row. 10 laps. On the gas. Into turn 1, it's Hartman with the lead. Eckert, second, gets a bump from behind. Andrews and Francis right there behind Rick Eckert. Into turn number 3, Andrews trying to get underneath Eckert and take that second spot in the middle of 3 and 4. Todd Andrews into second. Here comes the 0 of Dave Groves flying on the bottom into third. Groves in the 0 car, moving quickly up into that third spot. Francis fourth as Eckert drops to fifth. It's the GVS, the Golf Valve Service 75 of Bart Hartman, your leader. The Andrews Auto Salvage 42 of Todd Andrews runs second. And the Bland Towing 0 of Dave Groves third. With the Action Auto Mart 15 of Steve Francis fourth. Eckert is fifth. Lou Bradish in car 5 and B.A. Malquit in the 04. Wheel to wheel for 6th, exiting turn number 2. Right with them, the 12 of Doug Dodd. Down. Francis now in the 15 trying to get a run off the outside of turn 2. And motor by Dave Groves into third. Francis up to third. Groves back in the final transfer spot, now fourth. He's got a lot of advantage over the 5th place car. Rick Eckert's 24, back a ways. About a half a straightaway behind the 4th place car of Dave Groves. Still Bart Hartman leading. Todd Andrews second, Steve Francis and Dave Groves. They have checked out on the rest of the field. Halfway. 5 laps remaining, 5 to go. Bart Hartman turning that last lap at 21.60. 21.60, the last lap for Hartman. Malquit now has moved by the 24 of Rick Eckert and up to 5th. So Malquit in the Phil Lucon Red Fab 0-4 into the top 5. Eckert is faded to 6th. Dodd is 7th. Bradish 8th. Chubb Frank 9th. And Dan Armbruster runs 10th in car 61. 3 more laps to go. 3 laps remaining. To go now, 2 to go for Bart Hartman. Rick Eckert slowing down. Eckert pulls to the top of the Speedway in turn 4. Ray Vest excavating 24 of Rick Eckert slows atop the racetrack. Caution is out. Go, single foul restart. Malquit going under the cone in car 04. He'll be docked 2 spots. He'll be docked 2 spots. Here they come. Into turn 1, it's still Hartman. Now Francis going for second. They're wheel-to-wheel for second. Francis on the outside in the 15 makes the pass. Andrews drops to third. Groves is fourth. Malquit still 5th. 1 lap remaining, 1 lap to go. Bart Hartman, your leader. Steve Francis second. Todd Andrews third. Running 4th is still the 0 of Dave Groves. Malquit in the 04 is 5th. Exhaust heat race number 2 from Zanesville in the Golf Valve Service 75. Bart Hartman wins it with Steve Francis a close second. Todd Andrews third, and Groves slips, and Malquit gets fourth. Dave Groves losing the 4th and final transfer spot on the final turn. B.A. Malkwood moves in. And Groves will have to go into the B main. And car 0 seemed to have a comfortable advantage in fourth, but ended up losing it on the final turn. And Malkwood came flying through to take the fourth and final transfer spot in the Phil Lucon Rev Fab 04. Borla Exhaust Heat Race number 3 finds the 99 of Dresden, Ohio's Donnie Miranda, 71 of Rod Conley. Steve Lucas in the 5L, the 19 of Gary Stuhler. 9C, Doug Crawford. 72, John Mason. 1K, Jim Kudis. Brian Ruhlman in the 49, the 6 of Jim Lepro. 32, Scott Hartley. The 07R, Brent Rayberg. And 99, Ben Miley. Chad Ruhlman in the 87R. And the 20C of Jason Sisson. Jason Sisson in car 20C. The final car to start this third Borla Exhaust Heat Race. Two of the Buckeyes, Donnie Moran and Rod Conley, your front row. 99 and 71R. Here they come off at turn 4. On the gas, and the green is out. And right away, Conley takes the lead at turn number 1. Moran now trying to fend off Gary Stuhler, but Stuhler goes quickly by on the outside for second. Mason is fourth in car 72. Lucas in the 5 running fifth. Rod Conley leads the way here with Stuhler right behind him. And Moran in third. Steve Lucas trying to unseat John Mason for fourth in turn 1. Mason in the 72 up high. And Lucas slides underneath him in the second turn to make the pass for fourth. Now Race and John trying to get back under Lucas into turn number 3. Rod Conley with Gary Stuhler second, Donnie Moran third. The battles for fourth between the 5 of Steve Lucas and the 72 of John Mason. Doug Crawford is up to sixth in car 9C. For the halfway point, the battle still for fourth. The Don's Disposal 5 of Steve Lucas trying to hold on and keep that fourth and final transfer spot as Racing John Mason continues to apply the pressure in the Basil Oil 72. And John Mason trying the outside here through 3 and 4. Tries to swing by the 5 of Steve Lucas. Now Mason, for a minute there, looked like he was going to try to slingshot to the inside. Racing John Mason trying the top side of the Monster half mile off at turn number 2. Steve Lucas still fourth, but Mason contact on the back straightaway. They're getting serious with that fourth spot. Mason slides underneath Lucas, then comes to the top of turn 4. Lucas trying to come back underneath. Racing John Mason. It's Mason fourth and Lucas fifth with 2 to go. Rod Conley still leads. Gary Stuhler second. Donnie Moran third. White flag is waving for your leader, Rod Conley, out of Wheelersburg, Ohio. And John Mason seems to have found a groove up high to his liking as he went from 5th to 4th after losing that 4th spot earlier. Borla Exhaust Heat Race number 2 out of Wheelersburg. 6th in the Stars point standings. Entering the 9th, Rod Conley wins it. Gary Stuhler second. Donnie Moran third. Race Racing John Mason fourth. Fifth to Steve Lucas. Doug Crawford sixth. Close for seventh and eighth. Jim Lepro will get ninth and Jim Kudas 10th. Conley taking the lead on lap number 1 and taking the 71 into the winner's circle for Bull Exhaust Heat Race number 3 of 4. Donnie Moran third, Gary Stuhler was second, and taking the fourth spot after a spirited battle with Steve Lucas was Racing John Mason in car 72. Bull Exhaust Heat Race number 4, the final one, rolls out onto the Monster Half Mile. The starting lineup looks like this: 30, Steve Shaver; 77, Barry Bragdon; 7, Bill Adler; 29, Darrell Lanigan; 1C, Lynn Geisler; 1Z, Jim Zarin; 09, John Flinner; 99, Ricky Thomas; 84, Steve Baker; 2J, Mike Johnson; 44, Marvin Winters; 29, Ken Sheltonbrand; 1, Bob Waring; and 59, Dub Barnhouse. And Bragdon bring the field off the fourth turn. The green is out. And Bill Adler in car 7 gets turned around on the inside of the front straightaway and into the guard, or at the tires there. Bill Adler in the Adler Tree Service number 7. Adler Tree Service 7 of Bill Adler. Bull Exhaust Heat Race wins on the year with the Stars Series. Number 7. Hitting those tires is bad enough, but if the tires weren't there, you'd hit that guardrail inside that front stretch and it'd probably be a whole lot worse. Either way, it's not good. Exhaust Heat Race number 4. Off the fourth turn they come, and the green is out. Battle continues down the backstretch between Bragdon and Shaver. Lanigan and Geisler wheel to wheel for third. Contact between those. We got a car spinning. It's Jimmy Zarin. Jimmy Zarin just hit the inside guardrail hard in car 1Z. Caution out for the 1Z of Jim Zarin. We go off the fourth turn. Bragdon leads. Steve Shaver second. Darrell Lanigan third. Lynn Geisler is fourth right now. Geisler gets out of shape into turn 4, and he's got cars inside and outside as they off the fourth turn. They're 3 wide for the final transfer spot. Mike Johnson, Lynn Geisler, and Steve Baker. And Baker riding the rim in the 84 into the 4th spot. The West Virginia rim rider, Stevie Baker. The Phil Lucon Rev Fab 84 trying to do as his teammate B.M. Elkwood did earlier. Take that final spot. He's definitely found the top groove, which is where he likes to run here. Bragdon is still leading Shaver second, and caution is out. Bob Waring in the pits in car 1. Here they come. Stevie Baker picks up another spot in car 84. Baker's been on the move here. Bragdon leads Shaver second. Baker third. Lanigan fourth. Geisler is fifth. Mike Johnson and Ricky Thomas battle for 6th. Thomas underneath Johnson in 1 and 2. Down the back straight. Mike gets back by Ricky. Shaver making a run on Bragdon here for the lead as they come down the front stretch with 4 to go. Shaver goes to the outside. That outside groove is coming in. Lanigan, meantime, trying to get underneath Baker. Can't do it through 1 and 2, but it's close down the back straight. Lanigan now getting back by Baker for third. The Simonton Windows 30 of Steve Shaver has got the lead. 3 laps to go, 3 to go. Remaining. Steve Shaver pulling away from the field right now. Barry Bragdon second, Lanigan third, Baker fourth, Geisler not far behind in fifth. White flag, 1 more lap for Borla Exhaust Heat Race number 4. Simonton Windows Poskey's performance number 30, leading by half a straightaway. As we come to the checkered flag out of Parkersburg, Steve Shaver gets the win in car number 30. Barry Bragdon will finish second. Darrell Lanigan third, and the final transfer spot goes to the 84 of Steve Baker. Modified feature will be coming up next first. We're going to put a little more water around the top of the racetrack, try and keep that dust down as best we can. M-Stall Modified feature up next, and then we'll get the Stars late models lined up for the Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash and the 2 outerwear pre-filters B mains. Dale Fuller driving. The Dash event sponsored by Iski Racing Cams of Gardena, California. The Iski Racing Cam's Dash winner will receive $100 cash for his efforts, providing the Iski Racing Cams Dash winner meets the requirements of the Iski Racing Cams Dash program. Iski Racing Cams of Gardena, California, the leader of motorsports racing cams. All right, we'll give you the 50-50 number right after this race. It's worth $677. We'll give you the number right after this race. Todd Andrews in the 42, Ed Ferree in the 4. 29, Darrell Lanigan, 19, Gary Stuhler, 15, Steve Francis, 68, Tim Hitt. 6 laps for the Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash. The way they finish is the way they'll start. The front 3 rows for tonight's Penn National 100. they come. The green is out. Into turn one. Free on the outside. Takes the lead into the turn. Let's see what happens coming off. Look at Stuhler in the middle. The reliable painting 19 trying to take the lead. Still the Franklin Racing Supply 4 of Ed Faree. Stuhler second. Here comes Darrell Lanigan in car 29 to third. Andrews is fourth, hit up to fifth, and Francis runs sixth. Off of turn two, Ed Faree, believes still running his spec motor. Without the big spoiler, look at Stuhler take the 19, hard slide up across Faree. Here they come off of 4. Slide job for Gary, and he makes it stick. And look at Hit. Hit in the 68 car. Had that left front off the ground coming off of turn 4. He is up to third. Andrews slowing down in car 42. Lanigan back under Hit for third as they rumble into turn number 3. Maybe a motor problem for the 42 of Todd Andrews. Tim Hitt gets high in 4. He's back to fourth. Lanigan is third, Faree second, and Gary Stuhler is your leader. The reliable painting number 19, Faree high in turn 2. Here comes Lanigan, and here comes Hitt closing in. Look at this, little contact into 3 and 4. Lanigan and Hitt, you'd think they were running for $1 million here. 2 laps to go, and the Isky Racing Cam's fast dash, and they are dashing. Hitt and Lanigan going at it. Hitt back to third. Lanigan is fourth. Francis fifth. Todd Andrews has retired in the 42. We've got 1 lap to go. Gary Stuhler is your leader. Tim Hitt now trying to overtake Ed Faree for second into turn 1. Hitt in the 68. Faree in the 4. Wheel-to-wheel off at turn number 2 down the back chute. Mr. Smooth, Gary Stuhler, will be your Isky Racing Cam's fast dash winner. Second is up for grabs off the 4th turn. It's going to be Tim Hitt, Faree third, Lanigan 4th, and Francis 5th. And the motors that Darrell Lanigan is running are built by the Woods brothers of Winston Cup fame. He's running Fords too. How about Gary Stuhler? He is not wasting any time. When that dash took off, he went through 1 and 2 right in the middle, and he was gone. Tim Hitt looks awfully fast again too. He's been quick all night. Your fast timer comes home second in the Isky Racing Cam's fast dash, and local product Ed Faree, a strong third. Ed having a good night so far. The Faree family, of course, his son picking up the Zaresco Limited Late Model win. Todd Andrews will have to see if he'll be able to make the starting grid or not. They said it sounded like something was amiss under the hood. The Phase 2 graphics, Andrews Auto Salvage number 42. Pro Shocks B-Main. Tonight's B-Mains are sponsored by Pro Shocks of Lawrenceville, Georgia, the official B-Main sponsor of Stars. Any Stars driver not transferring to the feature event will receive points toward the Pro Shocks B-Main Points Fund. Pro Shocks, an industry leader in racing suspension technology. 15 laps the distance, top 3 advance. E1 Mike Balzano, 5L Steve Lucas, 1J Davey Johnson, 9C Doug Crawford, 8 Dennis Curry, 07R Brent Raybergen, 54 Chris Angelicchio, 49 Brian Ruhlman, 96 Keith Berner, 6 Jim Lepro, 75 Don Gross, 1K Jim Kudis, 32 Scott Hartley, 10 Gary Lau, 20 Jason Sisson, 75 Mel Minnick Jr., 15 laps. Pro Shocks B-Main number 1. The green is out. Front 3 will move on. Lucas has the lead. They're side-by-side for second. Balzano and Johnson. Down the backstretch, Balzano second, Johnson third. Doug Crawford a close 4th. Steve Lucas is your leader. Johnson still third, Crawford 4th, Raybergen 5th, Ruhlman runs 6th. Lucas out of Charleston, and the Don's Disposal 5L continues to lead the way. The Eddie's Auto Parts E1 of Mike Balzano second, and the John's Towing 1J of Davey Johnson third. The Fathead South Shore Saloon 9C of Doug Crawford is fourth. Three laps complete. 3 laps are down. Your leaders off at turn 4. Single foul out in front. Dennis Curry trying to pick up a spot in car 8 as he works the low side of Jim Lepro in the 6. Contact off of 4. Curry's able to save it. The Coors Light 8. Steve Lucas still leads. Mike Balzano second. Davey Johnson sitting in the final transfer spot right now in car 1J. Crawford's 9C is 4th. Ray Bergen's 07R 5th, Roman 6th, Lepro 7th, Curry 8th, Gary Lyle 9th, and Jim Prudis runs 10th. Steve Lucas closing in on the 20 of Jason Sisson. A close call into turn 1. Real close as Balzano has pulled right in behind Lucas now. He'll get by Sisson on the outside. They're a straightaway ahead of Davey Johnson, who still runs third. 7 more laps to go. We're halfway in the Pro Shocks B-Main number 1. Balzano again putting some pressure on Lucas as they race through 3 and 4. Mike trying to come underneath Steve as they exit the 4th turn. We've got 6 laps to go. More laps, 5 laps remaining. Coming into turn number 3, Steve Lucas in the Don's Disposal 5L, 4th in the Stars point standings and leading the Rookie of the Year points race. 3 more laps to go in this Pro Shocks B-Main. Mike Balzano still second. Davey Johnson by himself in third. Doug Crawford is 4th. Brent Rayberg in 5th. More lap traffic to deal with for your race leaders as they head down the backstretch around the Jason Montgomery 21. Montgomery a little high there in the middle of 3 and 4, but Balzano, the second place car, gets by with 2 laps to go. John's Towing, Nigel Auto Solutions 1J of Davey Johnson by himself in third. Crawford is 4th, Rayberg in 5th, Ruhlman 6th, Lepro 7th, Curry 8th, and Gary Lau 9th with Jim Kuda still 10th. 1 lap remaining in the first Pro Shocks B-Main. And we got a spin in turn 4. Caution is out. Jason Sisson in car 20 right in the groove, and a couple of cars did a good job there. The 54 of Chris Angelico and the 96 of Keith Berner. Green checkered. Final lap for the Pro Shocks B-Main number 1. Davey Johnson in the final transfer spot in car 1J. Just a one-lap dash here. Johnson in the 1J, splitting a couple of lap cars as he tries to hold on to that third and final spot. Crawford up against the wall in the 9C, running fourth. Here they come to the checkered flag. Steve Lucas, Mike Balzano running 1 and 2. Lucas will win it. Balzano second, and Johnson will get third. Crawford fourth. Raybergen fifth in car 07R. Steve Lucas wins Pro Shocks B main number 1. Mike Balzano second and Davey Johnson third. They move in, failed to qualify, and the fastest qualifier tonight who has failed to qualify will be added as provisionals. Dave Groh starting on the pole in car 0, outside the 1C of Lynn Geisler. 5 is Lou Bradish, 2J Mike Johnson. Row 312, Doug Dodd, the 99C of Ricky Thomas. The star 1 of Chubb Frank and the 09 of John Flinner. 61 Dan Armbruster and the 44 of Marvin Winters. 12 Courtney Clewell and the 29 of Ken Sheltonbrand. Melminick Jr. 75, Rick Eckert way in the back in car 24 after misfortune in his heat. For that flat tire, Dub Arnhouse in the 59, Frankie Plessinger in the 9, and Mark Motes in car 48. Dave Groves at the 0-1C. Lynn Geisler bring the field off the fourth turn. And away we go. Into turn 1. It's Groves down low and Geisler up high. Into 2. Groves in the Bland towing 0 in the Cochran Automotive 1C of Geisler Motors by on the outside. 2J Mike Johnson into third. Doug Dodd in the 12 runs fourth. Ricky Thomas in car 99 off the second turn, trying to get by the 12 of Doug Dodd for fourth. Then he'll make the pass. Dodd up to fourth. Or Dodd fifth, excuse me. Thomas is fourth. Right now it's Mike Johnson in the hot seat. Into 2J as Lou Bradish in the 5 gets by the 12 of Dodd. Bradish into fifth in car 5. Car 44, Marvin Winters off the pace. 44, Marvin Winters slowing down on the top side of the Speedway. And now limps that car down the backstretch on the inside and will head to the pits. It's the Cochran Automotive Budweiser ARL Trucking 1C of Lynn Geisler showing the way over Dave Groves. Mike Johnson still third. Ricky Thomas is fourth. Barnhouse in the 59, slowing down here on the front stretch. He misses the pit entrance, though. Misses the second pit entrance. He's still going. Geisler's lead has shrunk a bit. Dave Groves trying to close in. Mike Johnson still third. Ricky Thomas fourth. Bradish runs fifth. Chubb Frank is sixth. Armbruster seventh. Doug Dodd eighth. Rick Eckert ninth now. And John Flinner is 10th in car 09. Dub Barnhouse is in the pits in car 59. We've got 8 laps remaining. 8 laps to go in the Pro Shock second B main. Imperial Hoist Chem Oil 2J of Mike Johnson still third. as his brother Davey did, trying to take the final transfer spot out of the B main. Ricky Thomas in pursuit in the ARL Trucking, L. Thomas Body Shop and Towing 99C. Rick Eckert picks up another spot in the Ray Vest Excavating 24, but it's going to be a long way from the top three, but he probably go win as the Stars top point man who fails to qualify. 5 laps from the finish. And Ricky Thomas now right behind Mike Johnson for third. Third is up for grabs here. The Cochran Automotive 1C at Geisler has solidified that lead over Groves, but the race now is for third, Mike Johnson and Ricky Thomas. Actually 2.5 laps as your leaders head into some traffic in turn 3. Geisler catching the back of the field. 2 laps to go, 2 to go. Steele Johnson in third and Thomas fourth. Ricky seems to have the better of it through the turns and Mike down the straightaways. Geisler now trying to lap the 48 of Mark Most in turn 4. 29 Ken Sheltonbrand in the pits. The white flag waving for Lynn Geisler. Dave Groves second. Mike Johnson third. Ricky Thomas is fourth. And Thomas right behind Johnson in that race for third. Fifth is Bradish. Checkered flag is waving for Lynn Geisler. Geisler will win, Groves second. Thomas trying to take third away from Johnson off the fourth turn. And Mike will hold it off. Spectator Stock feature will be up next, and then we'll come right back with the Penn National 100. Lynn Geisler, your winner, Dave Groves second, and Mike Johnson getting the final transfer spot, finishing third in car 2J. National 100, number 5. Remember, there will be a fuel stop at lap 50. There will be a fuel stop at lap 50. Welcome to the main event. Ready for this? Next time around, they'll be 4 wide. We're going to send them off with the big Pittsburgh salute. 25 cars starting grid for the 5th annual Penn National 100. minutes. Get on your feet and say hello to the Stars Racing Series Late Models Penn National 100, 5th Annual. Some of the best late model talent in these United States is ready to do business. Y'all ready for this? Just feel the thunder. 25. 700 horsepower, small blocks, ready to turn them loose. Hit have brought the field into turn number 3, the 5th annual Penn National 100. Here we go. Coming at you off of turn number 4, 25 of the best. And the green is out. Hit leads them down the back straightaway. Stuhler is second. Lanigan is third. Faree in the 4, running 4th. Andrews is 5th. And Francis as they head into 4. Tim Hitt is your leader. Gary Stuhler second. Lanigan third. Andrews 4th. Faree 5th. Hartman and Francis side by side for 6th. Andrews in car 42 pulls alongside the 29 of Darrell Lanigan for third. It's a complete lap number 2. Hitt still leading. Stuhler second. Andrews third and Lanigan 4th. Francis has taken 5th in car number 15. Bart Hartman on the inside in the 75. Now 6th. Faree drops to 7th. Salafi is 8th. Conley is 9th. And Moran runs 10th in car 99. Davey Johnson pitting in car 1J. Davey Johnson in the pits in car 1J. Steve Francis in car 15 now works the inside off the 4th turn, passing the 29 of Darrell Lanigan, or does he? Lanigan battles back into turn number 1. Hitt leads it. Stuhler second. Andrews third. Francis and Lanigan racing for 4th and 5th in turn 3. Hartman sits in 6th. Faree is 7th. Salafi 8th. Rod Conley 9th. And Donnie Moran is still 10th with 5 laps down. Auckland in car 12 trying to pass the 99 of Donnie Moran down the back straightaways. They run for 10th into turn number 3. Auckland into the 10th spot. Hitt leads by half a straightaway over Gary Stuhler. Todd Andrews still 3rd. Francis 4th. Lanigan 5th. And Hartman a close 6th. Faree 7th, Conley 8th, Salafi 9th, and Auckland 10th as Hartman tries to move under the 29 of Darrell Lanigan for 5th in turn 1. Bart Hartman in the Gulf Valve Service 75 to the low side of Darrell Lanigan's 29 down the back straightaway. The battle continues into turn number 3. Tim Hitt closing in on the back of the field. Hitt, Stuhler, and Andrews all running on the same straightaway. Your front 3 lead cars back almost a full straight to the 4th place car of Steve Francis. But lap traffic's going to play a role here very soon for Tim Hitt. Hitt running the top of the monster half mile through 1 and 2. Stuhler still second and Andrews third. Traffic now just a few car lengths in front of the race leader. Bart Hartman has won that battle for 5th. The 29 of Darrell Lanigan. 7th is Faree. Conley 8th. Salafi 9th. And Auckland still running 10th. Tim Hitt right behind the 2J of Mike Johnson as they head into turn number 3. Steve Baker and Chris Angelicchio not far in front. You can see Baker with damage to the front end of car 84. Here Here comes Hitt. Now he's got cars to deal with. Hitt goes to the outside. Stuhler trying to close in as they exit 2 down the back straightaway. Hitt now slingshots to the low side in turn 3. Lapping the 2J of Mike Johnson. 2 lap cars between first and second as they complete lap number 12. Andrews still third, Francis fourth. Hartman runs fifth, Lanigan sixth, Paris seventh, Conley eighth, Salafi ninth, and Auckland is 10th. Gary Stuhler in the 19 goes hard in the low side of turn 3. Picks up 2 lap cars in 1 fell swoop. He's now a half a chute behind race leader Tim Hitt with no lap traffic between the front 2. Todd Andrews still third, and he's also running strong on the low side off the second turn. Francis is fourth. Hartman by himself in fifth. Hitt's got a roadblock in front of him here. Geisler and Groves right in front of Timmy Hitt with Gary Stuhler closing in. Tim Hitt around the 1C of Lynn Geisler. Now trying to lap the 0 of Dave Groves. Up high off at 2. Has to break his momentum for a moment. He got high and had to get out of the gas. Still keeping that lead about the same over Stuhler. Here they come into 4. Hitt tries to work Dave Groves to put him a lap down. Todd Andrews third. Francis fourth. Hartman is fifth. Hitt now underneath Groves in 1 and 2 and makes the pass. A 1 lap car between first and second. 16 laps complete, 16 are down. Tim Hitt out of Weston, West Virginia in the Rocket Chassis Drame Racing Engine 68 leads the way. Gary Stuhler second and Todd Andrews third. Steve Francis fourth. Bart Hartman is fifth. Lanigan sixth. Paris seventh. Conley eighth. Salafi ninth. And Auckland a close 10th. Hitt now lapping the 5 of Lou Bradish as they exit turn number 2. 2 lap cars between first and second as Hitt increases that lead to a half a straight over Gary Stuhler. Complete, 19 are down. Still 2 lap cars between the front duo of Tim Hitt and Gary Stuhler. Laps complete in the Penn National 100. Tim Hitt has been your leader from the start. Gary Stuhler finally able to lap the 0 of Dave Groves, but it took him a bunch of laps to get the pass made. Steve Francis is closed in now on the 42 of Todd Andrews for third, as Hitt tries to put a lap on the 24 of Rick Eckert into turn number 1. Rick Auckland trying to take the 9th spot away from Bob Salafi in turn 1. Steve Baker off the pace in car 84. Baker with that front end damage since early in the battle. Here's headed to the pit. Baker in the pits and Hitt your leader coming off the 4th turn, completing lap number 23. Stuhler now trying to put a lap on the 5 of Lou Bradish, staying in striking distance of race leader Tim Hitt. The battle for third is good in turn 1. Steve Francis trying to overtake Todd Andrews for third, and Bart Hartman is also closing in there in the 75 car. Francis challenging Todd Andrews for third in turn number 3. 25 laps complete off the fourth turn. Francis and Andrews going at it for third into turn number 1. Right behind them, Bart Hartman in fifth as Andrews falls to fourth, and Francis puts the action on him, March 15 into third. Running sixth is Darrell Lanigan. Ed Faree is seventh. Rod Conley eighth. Bob Salafi ninth, and Rick Auckland is still 10th. We got a caution out. Car stopping up in turn 4. Car 5, Lou Bradish. He might return to the Speedway in the Chem Oil Imperial Hoist 2J. Chris Angelicchio belongs up by the 4 of Ed Faree through the first quarter of the Penn National 100. And tire wear could be a factor. We get into the late stages. These guys are really running hard. Stuhler is second. Francis third. Andrews fourth, and Hartman is fifth. Darrell Lanigan sixth. Ed Faree seventh. Rod Conley eighth. Bob Salafi ninth, and Rick Auckland is 10th. All right, they're on the gas off at turn 4. We're back underway. James P. Steigerwald, the sheriff's going to be in a hurry here. Timmy Hitt brings the field around. Car of Rick Eckert between the first two place cars of Hitt and Stuhler. Francis fourth, Andrews fifth, fourth is Andrews. Hartman is fifth. Lanigan sixth, Faree still seventh, Rod Conley eighth. Bob Salafi ninth, and Racing John Mason now trying to take 10th away from the 12 of Rick Auckland. Racing John Mason up high in turn 4, trying to move into the top 10. Hitt. The lead grows to a half a straightaway just like that. Stuhler's pushing high in turn 4, and here comes Francis closing in. Gary Stuhler got high that time off the fourth turn. Bob Salafi trying to pass Ed Faree for 7th. Salafi moves to 7th. Look at this battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Salafi, Auckland, Faree, and Mason coming at you off at turn 4. Salafi 7th, Mason to 8th. Then Faree and Auckland. Racing John Mason coming alive in car 72 on the very top side of the Speedway. He loves the top side here. Almost won the Pittsburghs running the top line a couple of years back. He is running the rim. It's a straightaway lead for Tim Hitt with 19 laps to the fuel stop. Gary Stuhler second, and Steve Francis third. Todd Andrews fourth, and Bart Hartman runs fifth. Lanigan sixth. Conley 7th, Mason 8th, Salafi 9th, Auckland running there, and then Faree in the 10th spot. Check that, Faree runs 11th, Auckland is still 10th in car 12. Another good battle going on between Mike Balzano, Donnie Moran, and Steve Lucas. Geisler radioing his crew. He is coming in. Lynn Geisler says he may retire from the event. Something amiss on the Cochran Automotive 1C. the pace. Lynn Geisler off the pace, coming in 15 laps to the fuel stop. Hitt leads by half a stretch over Stuhler, Francis, Andrews, and Hartman. Lanigan still 6th, Conley 7th, Mason 8th, Auckland a close 9th, and Salafi is 10th. Rick Auckland trying to work under the 72 of Racing John Mason. 7th and 8th, battling hard down the backstretch into turn number 3. Wheel to wheel through 3 and 4. Mason way up top, and Auckland down low makes the pass. Auckland up into 8th. As Hitt laps to 54, Chris Angelicchio. Trying to lap the 2J of Mike Johnson in turn 4. We've got 10 laps to the halfway point. 10 laps to go to the halfway point. Completing lap 40. Hitt has been your leader from the start. Stuhler 2nd. Francis still 3rd. Andrews 4th, and Hartman not far behind in 5th. Lanigan 6th, Conley 7th. Auckland 8th, Mason 9th, and Salafi runs 10th. Then Lucas, Faree, Balzano, Moran, Shaver, and Bragdon. Malfoot, the last car on the lead lap. Tim Hitt trying to lap defending track champion B.A. Malfoot. Into turn 1. Malfoot not going to give up that lead lap position easily. They head down the back straightaway. Hitt makes the pass in 3 and 4. Mason now has gotten back ahead of Rick Auckland, and Mason now pressuring Rod Conley. Contact into turn 1. Conley and Mason separate as they head down the backstretch. Auckland right behind Mason. 7th, 8th, and 9th positions. Battling hard through 3 and 4. Rod Conley, John Mason, and Rick Auckland. Now it's Auckland trying the top side. Right behind him is Salafi. Balzano getting by the 4-bed Faree on the top side. Tim Hitt lapping the 77 of Barry Bragdon. Completing lap 45 this time. 55 laps in the race, 5 laps to the fuel stop. 2 lap cars between 1st and 2nd. Steve Francis 3rd. Todd Andrews 4th, and Bart Hartman 5th. Darrell Lanigan runs 6th. Conley is 7th. Mason 8th. Auckland 9th, and Salafi is 10th. Lucas 11th. Balzano 12th. Faree 13th. Moran 14th, and Shaver. And then your leader. Less than 15 cars on the lead lap. Now way down low. He has moved around this racetrack. He hasn't ran one groove. The car seems to work no matter where he puts it. He's got some top-notch equipment ahead of him as he continues to try and lap the field here. Steve Shaver and Donnie Moran trying to battle to stay on the lead lap to the halfway fuel stop. The caution will come out at lap 50. Laps to the fuel stop. fuel stop. Steve Shaver trying to stay on the lead lap here. Hit tracks him down on the backstretch. Stuhler still second, Francis third. They come to complete lap 50. The halfway mark, Tim Hitt is your leader. Gary Stuhler second. Steve Francis third. The battle for fourth. Todd Andrews is fourth. Bart Hartman will be fifth. Darrell Lanigan is sixth. Rod Conley seventh. John Mason eighth. Rick Auckland ninth. And Bob Salathé 10th. At the fuel stop. Been a 50 lap. First 50 laps dominated by Tim Hitt. Question is, will he have enough tires to get him through the second 50 laps? He sure wasn't backing down. He was been on the gas hard all night. Keep the cars out there, keep them all slowed down. We'll get them to single file line, and then we'll stop them for fuel. The scoreboard, Lanigan is sixth in the 29, Conley in the 71 7th, Mason in the 72 8th. It's Auckland in the 12 9th, and Salathé in the 3 runs 10th. I think anybody has anything for Tim Hitt. Is Hitt going to have enough tires to get him home for the second 50 laps? Is Gary Stuhler just playing it cool in the 19? You got Steve Francis in third in the 15. Andrews in the 42 is fourth. 75, Bart Hartman fifth. 29, Darrell Lanigan sixth. 71, Rod Conley seventh. 72, John Mason eighth. 12, Rick Auckland ninth. The RG3 of Bob Salathé 10th. Going into the pits. They'll be making tire changes and trying to get back out before we get green. Donnie Moran in the 99. Steve Shaver's in the pits. Malkwood has yet to come back out in car 04. Lights are out. We're ready to get back underway. Francis third. Then two lap cars before the fourth place car of Todd Andrews, the 42. They get a run off of 4. Outside the cone, everyone must go. We're back underway. Timmy Hitt leads them into turn 3. Remember, these cars have got a lot more weight with them right now. They're full of fuel. Rick Auckland trying to mount a charge here in car 12. Remember a couple of years back in the Penn National 100, that second half charge he put on. He's into 8th in the 12. Mason is 9th. Salathé in the 3 is 10th. Is trying to put the pressure on. Gary Stuhler for second. Andrews is still fourth and Hartman fifth. John Mason off the pace in car 72. Racing John Mason slowing down in car 72. Here comes Steve Francis trying to take second away from Gary Stuhler. Mason heads to the pits on the backstretch. Steve Francis in the Action Auto Marts. Don Sally, number 15, trying to take the second spot from the reliable painting 19 of Gary Stuhler, but not just yet. Stuhler trying to fend them off as they race off at turn 4. Last week they were running for the lead at Hagerstown. Stuhler in front, Francis second. Tonight it's the battle for second right now as Tim Hitt leads by a straightaway. Stuhler still second and Francis third. Andrews fourth. Lap car of Rick Eckert, then fifth to 75 of Bart Hartman. Auckland is up to sixth. Rick Auckland is up to sixth in car 12. Lanigan runs seventh. Rod Conley is eighth. Bob Salafi ninth and Mike Balzano 10th. Gary Stuhler has held off Steve Francis's charge for second for the time being. Tim Hitt is not slowing down. He is pouring it on. The Rocket Dream Racing engine, 68. Stuhler still second, Francis third, Andrews fourth. Hartman a half a straightaway back in fifth with Auckland sixth. Lanigan seventh, Conley eighth. Salafi ninth and Balzano 10th. Auckland closing in on Bart Hartman for fifth. Down the back stretch, Hartman fifth, Auckland sixth. Auckland, I believe, was ninth when the second half started. We've got 61 laps in the books now, 61 laps complete. And Hitt is caught up to the back of the field another time. Trying to lap the 30 of Steve Shaver. 2J Mike Johnson off the pace and into the pits. Not yet. Going a little too fast that time. 2J Mike Johnson limping around the inside of the racetrack in turn number 3. As Hitt laps Shaver. Donnie Moran now the last car on the lead lap. Johnson will make the turn into the pits, or will he? Not yet. Still limping around the low side of the speedway, down the front stretch. 35 laps to go in the Penn National 100. 35 laps to the finish. Tim Hitt has led from the start, and unless something strange happens here in the next 34 laps, he's going to lead all 100 laps. The way he's running here tonight. Gary Stuhler second and Steve Francis third. Andrews is fourth, Hartman fifth, Auckland sixth. Lanigan is still seventh in the 29, climbing the 71 eighth. Salafi is ninth, and Mike Balzano 10th, Steve Lucas 11th. 12th is Ed Ferree and Donnie Moran 13th, all on the lead lap. But right behind Moran sits Tim Hitt. lap Donnie Moran. 30 laps to go the next time by. 30 laps remaining the next time around. It gets by Moran, completing lap number 70. 70 laps down, 30 laps remaining. Gary Stuhler still second, and Steve Francis third. They've been that way for the longest of time. Todd Andrews fourth, Bart Hartman fifth, Rick Auckland sixth. Darrell Lanigan seventh, Rod Conley eighth, Mike Falzano ninth, Bob Salafi ninth, and Mike Falzano 10th, not far in front of race leader Tim Hitt. Hitt now trying to lap the 4 of Ed Faree, who runs 12th. And he's got that pass made in turn 1. The lead is now more than a full straightaway. Closing in on the 11th place car of Steve Lucas is Tim Hitt in turn number 1. Around Lucas he goes. He may be getting faster as the race gets longer. .26 laps to go. A blistering pace set by Tim Hitt. Last year was Bart Hartman that dominated. And this year it's been Tim Hitt, but we're still not done. Got a regular Saturday night feature lap. 25 laps to go. She closes in on the 10th place car of Mike Falzano. 25 laps to the finish. Around Falzano off of turn 2. Picking that left front off the ground as he exits turn number 4. He is just hooked up. Who runs 9th, is next in line for race leader Tim Hitt. 22 laps to go. He'll make you dizzy if you watch him go around the Speedway enough. He is that fast right now. He is on a rail, as they say. Rick Auckland, again, not far behind the 5th place car of Bart Hartman. About the closest race for position on the Speedway right now for 5th. Hartman and Auckland in turn 3. Steve Shaver pitting in car 30. Steve Shaver has dropped down in car number 30. It seems to have backed off just a bit since lapping Falzano. Stuhler still second, a straightaway behind Hitt. Francis not far behind Stuhler in 3rd. Todd Andrews 4th. Bart Hartman 5th. Rick Auckland 6th. 7th is still Darrell Lanigan. Rod Conley is 8th. And Bob Salafi 9th, all still on the lead lap. And then is Tim Hitt. Now seems to be getting more one groovish on the inside. As Auckland challenges Hartman for 5th in turn 1. Bart Hartman still 5th with Rick Auckland knocking at the door. underneath Bob Salathe, lapping the 9th place car as they exit turn 4. 16 laps to go in the Penn National 100. Stuhler still second. Steve Francis not far behind in third. In fact, Francis now right on Stuhler's bumper as they exit turn 4. 15 laps to go. And Auckland again underneath Bart Hartman for 5th in turn 1. Rick Auckland into the top 5 as Hartman slips high in turn 2. Bart back to 6th. Lanigan is 7th. Conley 8th. And then it's Tim Hitt. Just 8 cars left on the lead lap. Last year we had just 3 at the finish. Stuhler's in some traffic. Your second place car got some lap traffic to deal with here with Steve Francis right behind him in third. Gary gets by the 77 of Barry Bragdon, and Francis follows him. Todd Andrews 4th, and closing in on Andrews, the 12 of Rick Auckland. Auckland has got the wick turned up here in the late stages. Less than 12 laps to go as Tim Hitt motors down the backstretch behind the 8th place car of Rod Conley. That lead is back to more than a full straightaway. Now right behind Todd Andrews, the battle for 4th. Andrews in the 42 and 4th. Auckland in the 12 runs 5th. 10 laps to go. 10 laps remaining. That lead is almost a half a track now for Tim Hitt. It's getting close to a half a track. Rick Auckland into the 4th spot. Auckland has been the charge man here in the second half. Coming from, I believe, 9th to 4th now. He's got a long way to go for 3rd with less than 10 laps. Half a straightaway behind the 3rd place car of Steve Francis. Definitely getting folded down here in the last 50. The black stripe around the inside. Francis trying to take second from Stuhler, gets by the 99 of Donnie Moran to stay in striking distance of Gary, and Auckland is closing in on those two. Rick is really flying here. The Easy Crushers 12 has put another one of those late race charges on. We saw him win the Penn National 100 a couple of years back doing this, but he's got a half a track for the race lead. But 2nd and 3rd are in striking distance with 6 laps to go. Auckland heading into turn number 1. Stuhler and Francis in sight, the lap car of Donnie Moran in between. Here comes Tim Hitt completing lap 95. When he won the Pittsburgh 100 back in 1996, he did it on the final lap. Tonight he took charge at the start, and barring a miracle, he's going to lead all 100 laps. For his 9th win at Pittsburgh, if he hangs on, and his 2nd biggest win here behind the Pittsburgh 100. And Francis now, a little more breathing room over Rick Auckland, who's behind the 99 of Donnie Moran. Two and a half laps to go. 2.5 laps remaining. half of the race, there was multi-grooves. Right now, it's pretty much one lane on the inside. And Tim Hitt is 2 laps from victory in the Penn National 100. Gary Stuhler still second. Right behind him is Steve Francis as they lap the fourth head free. Auckland fourth. Andrews is fifth. Hartman sixth. Lanigan seventh. Rod Conley eighth. Still on the lead lap. Mike Balzano running ninth. Bob Salathé 10th. Your leader has taken the white flag. His first Stars win of 98 in sight. His 9th win here at Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, and he joins Rick Auckland as the only drivers to win the Pittsburgher 100 and the Penn National 100. Domination tonight for Tim Hitt, leading all 100 laps of the Penn National 100. Gary Stuhler second and Steve Francis third. Rick Auckland put the charge on for fourth. Todd Andrews fifth. Bart Hartman sixth. Darrell Lanigan seventh. And Rod Conley eighth, all on the lead lap, with Balzano ninth and Bob Salathé 10th. Took approximately 1 hour to run the 100-lap Penn National 100. And what a run for Tim Hitt. He was fast from the get-go tonight, setting your fast time. Coming up